No, 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 no. That's exactly what we need because I can't tell what's happening out there.
Okay.
All right, Z.
Oh, yeah, that's going to make a big difference. Yeah.
And I think this needs to come up, but I don't know how this works.
Okay. Hey there.
I know it's right in front of my face.
Welcome. Yeah, you should have brought your boots. I got mine on.
Fabio. Yeah.
You're just playing for family.
Yeah, Christian said, we just need you up here. I was like, I can strum my bicycle.
You don't want Brian up here.
Thank you. In the hip. Let's hear that fiddle. I'm already an insecure singer. So we can make sure that I make up words so I don't.
Can you play with a little more force, my love? You're being real gentle.
You ready?
Uh-huh. There we go. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. The other night, dear, as I lay sleeping.
And she's amazing, but she's from Boston, and she'll tell your ass off. Yes. Retired military, like. Will you put that in your pocket? And I need to.
And so I bowed my head and I cried. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away.
And Z, go. I'm too loud. Good enough? Yeah.
Well, they're going to want to pay us.
Well done.
They're going to hire us. Request if you all are comfortable when you're singing to take your mask off.
Okay.
Just so people can see.
Yeah, we can do that.
Thank you.
I'm sure not.
Everything's turned into Charlie Brown's telephone. So I guess if this Christmas tree's up here, we should turn it on, right? I know, but it was just the Feast of Epiphany like a few days ago, right? You're a good helper. I knew that already, though. I knew that already. About what happened? Oh, okay. Oh, thank you. morning. Wow, I love it. There's a lot of folks here. Welcome. Welcome if you're joining us online, watching this later, or in person. You're so welcome here today. Today we're going to talk about friendship and my favorite movie, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? So we'll see where that goes. My name is the Reverend Mandy Goheen. My pronouns are she and her, and you are welcome in this space no matter what brought you here today. Whether it's curiosity, whether it's apparently people want something entertaining to do on a rainy day. We're going to talk a little bit about the Soggy Bottom Boys on a soggy day, so I think it will be good. Our opening words are from the Odyssey. O Muse, sing in me and through me and tell the story of that man skilled in the ways of contending, a wanderer, harried for years on end. And now it's time to light our chalice, and I invite Reverend Pam Johnson up to light our chalice today. And I invite all of you to join us in the order of service. You'll find the chalice lighting words. In the light of truth and the warmth of love, we gather to seek, to sustain, and to share. Now you are invited to rise in body and or spirit in the gray hymnal number 34. Though I may speak, please join your voices both here and at home singing our opening hymn. Please be seated. We have changed the order of our service a little bit. We're coming up on 30 days of love, and there'll be 30 days of exciting ways to give to the community and to each other. And we're going to begin that by having the offertory before folks go downstairs for religious education. And so the offering in our congregation helps pay for the programs that we love and need in this space. It helps pay for our music director and our staff. It helps pay for the work we do in the community. So when we gather the offering, we gather our resources, our treasure, it helps make this place shine brighter in the world. We talk a lot about time, talent, and treasure. Time being devotion to volunteering, maybe making coffee, greeting people at the door. Talent, you'll see in a second, and treasure is the resources we can give. Every little bit helps. No matter if you can give $1 today, or you can give 20 or 20,000 if you're feeling very generous. I always try. It doesn't hurt. You never know. But also, if you're visiting today or you're just not ready to give, it's okay to let that offering plate pass by. This is a time of giving and sharing, and I am so excited for the offertory song to be shared by Z and Charla, and so come on up. And Selena, and I think it's a familiar song. I hope it gets you in the mood to give generously, and I just invite you all to enjoy the treasure of someone playing the fiddle this much better than me. So. The offering will be gratefully received.
You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. The other night, dear, as I lay sleeping, I dreamed I held you in my arms. When I awoke, dear, I was mistaken. So I bowed my head and I cried. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away.
Take a bow. Yeah. You want to take a bow? Yeah. No. No. I've done enough for you all. Thank you for supporting our community, and please join me in our offertory response found in the order of service. We give these gifts freely, committed to our mission to care, create beloved community, awaken hearts and minds, resist injustice and act with compassion, embrace life and care for the earth. To this work, we dedicate our offerings. Thank you. And now, it's time for our musing of all ages from your minister about the Trojan horse and this tiny little man, Odysseus. So, who knows what the Trojan horse is? It's part. Who knows what the Trojan horse virus is? Okay, so A Trojan horse. So there are things in our lives that are literary, like from books, images that we use over and over and over and over again. And I thought it would be cool if we talked about Trojan horses. So there was a war. This guy named Homer wrote some cool poems about it. The Iliad, which is about the war, and the Odyssey, which is about the hard time they got getting home. So during the war against Troy, something happened. Troy had these amazing walls. And no matter how hard the Greeks fought to get in and get Helen back, who was the wife of the Greek king, you know, we always like to fight about relationships in mythology, and mythology is stories about things that explain weather and why people act the way they do. And in this story, they couldn't get into Troy, so they decided to build a giant wooden horse and give the giant wooden horse as an offering to Troy so that they would open the gates. And it was kind of like a big trick because it was a peace offering. But what nobody knew is look how little Odysseus is compared to the horse. He's not really feeding it, although I thought that was funny. Wooden horses don't eat. That's silly. Anyway, soldiers got inside the horse, and when the Trojans decided to accept this lovely peace offering from the Greeks, they rolled it in the city, and all the fiercest warriors jumped out and got Helen back, and the war was over, and it had been 10 years. Now, people who fought in those wars, like Odysseus, were professional soldiers, just like people are lawyers and doctors and teachers and all kinds of things. Odysseus was a professional soldier, so when another king got into trouble and that king was his friend, he would travel far and wide to go battle it out. But the problem was Odysseus was from Ithaca, and Ithaca was very far away from Troy, and he had to go across the ocean to get home. And he had some obstacles in his path. There was a Cyclops. That's pretty exciting. They got trapped, and the Cyclops thought they would be delicious to eat for dinner, so they had to sneak out and defeat the Cyclops. There were some pretty girls who sang great called the Sirens. And they invited all the men onto shore and sang to them, and they forgot what time it was. So it was so strange that war not only took 10 years, the ride home took 10 years. Meanwhile, back in Ithaca, there is the beautiful Queen Penelope waiting for Odysseus to come home. So let's count. That's 20 years. That's a patient lady. And all kinds of people were trying to take advantage. They were called suitors. So other kings and princes and people were trying to win Penelope's love before Odysseus got back. And finally, after 10 years, he got back. He ran all those guys off. And maybe they lived happily ever after. But that was a really long time ago. The important thing for us to remember is, first of all, don't get in giant wooden horses and trick your friends. That's not nice. Also, that there are things in this world that teach us about what people are talking about. And so I think it's cool that next time someone brings up a Trojan horse as a trick, you'll understand what they're talking about. I also think that the word Odyssey is pretty cool because it's made from Odysseus' name. And everybody knows that when you go on an Odyssey, there's lots of peril and things in your way. So I want you to be curious about learning things about ancient mythology so that you can learn things about today and learn things about other mythologies and religions, and that helps us be smarter and more welcoming and more loving to all kinds of people. And please don't ever, ever, ever poke a Cyclops in the eye. The end. And now it is time to invite anyone 12th grade or younger downstairs for religious education. We like to sing them on their way. There's a little song in the order of service, and I invite you all to go downstairs who are ready to be educated and learn more about the amazing world of Unitarian Universalism. This is the part in the sermon where all the rents go, because the kids are downstairs and we get a little time to think and meditate and take a break. Meditation can come in many forms, but one thing that moves us in a way that gets us in touch with something we don't understand is oftentimes music. And so today we're going to do things a little differently for meditation. We're going to be singing a song, so I invite the other folks who are going to be singing, come on up. And after the song, I would like, Reverend Pam's going to come up and help light candles, but we're going to do so in silence after the song. And just let that song wash over you. Remember, you don't have to have the constructs of the religion the song is talking about to understand how deeply moving music can be and how it can put us in a place of love and a place of peace. Oh, she wants that.
As I went down to the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and who shall wear the starry crown? Good Lord, show me the way. Oh, sisters, let's go down, come on down. Oh, sisters, let's go down, down in the river to pray. As I went down in the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and who shall wear the robe and crown? Good Lord, show me the way. Oh, brothers, let's go down, come on down. Oh, brothers, let's go down, down in the river to pray. As I went down to the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and who shall wear the starry crown? Good Lord, show me the way. Oh, fathers, let's go down, come on down. Oh, fathers, let's go down, down in the river to pray. As I went down in the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and who shall wear the starry crown? Good Lord, show me the way. Oh, mothers, let's go down, come on down. Oh, mothers, let's go down, down in the river to pray. As I went down in the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and who shall wear the starry crown? Good Lord, show me the way. Oh, children, let's go down, come on down. Oh, children, let's go down, down in the river to pray. As I went down in the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and who shall wear the starry crown? Good Lord, show me the way.
can you please light a candle for the folks online and for any joys or concerns people are holding in their heart? And I just want to express my gratitude and appreciation for the silence that we mostly held together as people do. There's never real silence. But there are moments. And there's just something special about being quiet in a group and all that energy just surround all the joys and concerns that were brought forward, or maybe not, for the candles that we lit today. So, it's time for a little lesson in O Brother, Where Art Thou? I want to open with a scene where the men who are chained together, as you can see in the picture, have gotten onto a railroad car, and the oracle, or a blind man, is pumping the car. You know those kind you see in cartoons where you pump it and it drives down the road. So they're on there, and the oracle says, "You seek a great fortune, you three who are now in chains. You will find a fortune, though it will not be the fortune you seek. But first, you must travel a long and difficult road, a road fraught with peril. You shall see things wonderful to tell. You shall see a cow on the roof of a cotton house. Ha! And so many other startlements. I cannot tell you how long the road shall be, but fear not the obstacles in your path, for fate has vouchsafed you a reward. Though the road may wind, your hearts grow weary, still shall ye follow them, even unto your salvation." And let's be clear, the salvation we're talking about today is friendship. So, my favorite movie is O Brother, Where Art Thou? And then the other thing that's my favorite is family systems theory, which sounds super boring. So I tried to put the two of those together, which has been a challenge, to help us think about friendship in a new context, because we've been talking a lot about how we get along with families, and the holidays are over. Let's work on our friends for a little while. Move on, take a little break. So this guy, Murray Bowen, was actually born in Tennessee. So can I see the next slide, please? And Murray Bowen was famous for developing family systems theory of behavior. Now, this is kind of pushing back against Freudian systems of psychology. This looks at the system of the family unit. Now, it is antiquated in that it looks at the white heteronormative family unit, father, son, child, mother, daughter. And there are binaries in many psychological things, and we have to use our brains and Unitarian Universalism to help us expand our thinking and learn from them still, even though they're a little weird sometimes. Bowen's family systems theory is a theory of human behavior that views the family as an emotional unit and uses systems thinking to describe the unit's complex interactions. It is the nature of family that its members are intensely connected emotionally. Well, that makes sense, right? We've just had the holidays. We've been intensely connected emotionally to a lot of family members lately. But the thing about this is what Bowen is saying is it's not just in the family unit. This expands, and we can see this system of families throughout society, not just at home, but in the workplace, in the way we behave culturally. It just keeps expanding and expanding our understanding. He had 8 concepts. Can I see the next slide, please? And we're not going to talk about all 8 of them, or we would be here for the rest of our lives, and I can't make them all 8 fit into O Brother, Where Art Thou? So, I want to talk about differentiation of self, triangles. We all hear about triangulation, right? And I just want to remind everyone, the last thing is the societal emotional process. So when we think about this, it can be the interaction of like a family member and like a bigger organization like a school. And it doesn't have to be all people in a triangle. The next slide, please. And I'm feeling excited because I'm doing slides that are even on here. So let's talk about differentiation of self first. So when we're born into a family, we're pretty needy humans when we're tiny and we need milk and our diaper changed and all those things. And we're very fused to our parents because that keeps us safe. It keeps us safe to be dependent. We're a dependent kind of creature at that point. And as we grow and become who we are as an individual, we pull apart from the primary parent. Now, there's something in this systems theory that talks about relationships. And in relationships, usually there are two people, right? Mom and dad, for example, just to use the generic term. And then you would be the triangle. Mom, dad, you. And how people communicate through that triangle is important, and how you understand how to use it. This triangle, you, mom, dad, you, siblings, parents, this is called a super triangle. This one influences you forever. Parents don't have to be parents biologically. They can be caregivers. They can be aunts and uncles, family, friends, all kinds of people. And the definition of family, as we know, can be very broad and creative. So that's a triangle, the super triangle. In the next slide, please, I want to talk about the triangle in O Brother, Where Art Thou? This is a friendship triangle. We have Ulysses Everett McGill, fast talker. Ulysses is actually the name of Odysseus in Latin, so that's a little shout out. George Clooney plays him. This man is very distracted by his hubris and his ego. Pete Hogwallop is a friend of his because not that they're friends, they are chained together. And then there is Delmar O'Donnell, who is the innocent in the story. In differentiation of self, I think of Delmar a little bit. There is a scene where they're trying to figure out, they're all chained together, they've escaped from prison, they're on this great journey, and they're trying to figure out who's in charge. And both Pete and Ulysses would very much like to be in charge of these three. And they decide, because maybe they're a little bit Unitarian Universalist, to put it up to a vote. Who's going to be in charge? Well, there's only three of them. Each of the ones who want to be in charge vote for themselves. And Delmar O'Donnell famously says, "I'm with you fellers." He is self-differentiated. He is not influenced by one or the other. He loves them both. It's going to be okay. I am done with slides, which I'm impressed I had a few today, but I always get lost if I have a lot. But I want to talk about friendship versus kinship first. And to distinguish the three kinds of friendship, Aristotle said there are friends of pleasure, utility, and of virtue. These three fellows are friends of utility. They are chained together. It is necessary for them to function in this triangle to move through the world. But many codes of ethics, specifically Confucian filial piety, especially that, says that there's this inherent obligation to kin that's a little different than friend. So we run into this in the movie when these three show up at Pete's cousin's house, who is a hog farmer. And Pete's cousin knocks the chains off, yet the three still stay together. While they're at the cousin's house, Everett, Ulysses McGill, he has pretty sticky fingers, as my grandpa would say, and he swipes a watch from Pete's cousin. Pete's cousin is betraying them. He turns them into the police. It's terrible. But still, Pete gets angry at Ulysses for stealing his cousin's watch. It's this complication of friendship where it's this weird thing like, don't mess with my family. You know, like I can gripe about someone, but I'm not really ready for you to say something bad about them. And this is triangulation. There's a triangle between those three: the cousin, Pete, and Ulysses. In examples of triangulation, there are good and bad examples. Now, we're in triangles with people, and this gets mixed up a lot, so I'm going to say this as clearly as I can. There's this perception in the world that triangulation is bad. That is not actually true. A type of triangulation where, for example, Delmar does something to Ulysses because Pete said to. Pete was upset with Ulysses, so Delmar gets involved. That's the bad kind. Like if you're fighting with your beloved and you go to a friend and you start saying, oh, they're just so annoying, I can't get them to listen to me. I just can't. I don't know what to do, blah, 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 blah. And instead of the person who's venting taking care of it and approaching the person they're having a problem with, the third party gets involved and intercedes. That's the bad kind of triangulation. The other bad kind of triangulation is called dumping, when instead of processing or figuring out what we need to figure out with a friend, like solving a problem together, we just start ranting. We talk about something incessantly. We never quit talking about it. We don't take a lot of care for the friend that we're dumping on to make sure we're not injuring them with the words we're saying. And there's not a real solution, and there's not a real end to that. Processing is different. Processing starts out when you ask permission of the person you're talking to. Can I process something with you? There's a beginning and end to it. It's not an endless rant about someone. There's give and take. If you ask someone to process with you, there's an expectation at the end they might give you some advice. But there is not an expectation at the end of processing that that other person will fix whatever was bothering you or go to the person that was bothering you and fix it. That's your job. And sometimes, I don't know if you've ever tried to fix a problem before it had time to work itself out. Sometimes it's not necessary to go and fix a problem or encounter someone who's made you mad. Sometimes it's our own behavior that we can change, and that's the difference between processing and venting too. In processing, we take accountability for what we're saying, for our actions. Listening and advising is not fixing, and I think that's the most important thing to remember in a friendship. To think that we don't have an opportunity if someone's bothering us to work it out and to get it off our chests is silly. That's like against the philosophy of psychology, to hold everything in and bottle it all up. And sometimes we get that confused. So I want to encourage you to think about how you talk to people and who you're talking to. It might be tempting to process with the lady in the checkout line at the store. Don't do that. Just say hi. We have this thing in the South where we say, how are you? We don't mean it. We don't want to hear about it. When you process, make sure it's somebody you have a relationship with or somebody who's trusted. I'm a great corner of a triangle if you ever need one. The pastoral care team is great corners on triangles if you ever need it. We're here to help you by listening and processing, but I'm not going to run in and fix the other part of your problem. I'm just going to help you figure out how to do it yourself. There are some unexpected outcomes in becoming a non-anxious person, which is that self-differentiation, becoming your authentic self, someone who is not easily changed around other people to make them feel better. I'm not talking about code switching exactly. Code switching is when somebody has to change their behavior to fit into a culture, but we do a little bit of that automatically. Like, I dress way nicer on Sunday. If anybody's ever seen me during the week, I look a little bit like a trucker most days. But on Sunday, I change my code to be here with you. It's church. It's a time of celebration. I am the minister. I should look halfway decent, right? We do adapt to make other people feel better, but we should never do that to the expense of our own heart. Let me say that again. We shouldn't adapt to make people feel better at the expense of our own heart. That, when we start adapting and jumping through hoops to make everyone around us feel better, it is exhausting, and it adds more anxiety to the system. It doesn't take it away. We can overdo being self-differentiated too, being like completely authentic and not changing. I will never forget, I studied family systems in undergraduate, I studied it in postgraduate, and I pulled some family systems crap on my mom that I regret to this day. I was very non-anxious and just let her become very upset. And it had a triangle. It was one of my kids. She was very upset with one of my kids. And I, instead of like being the two, kind of getting on her side and correcting the child's behavior, I like kind of switched teams on her. She wasn't expecting it. I was on the child's side. And boy, it was really uncomfortable, and it caused some real kerfuffles. So overdoing any of this stuff can cause issues in the relationship as well. For example, I don't like vegetable soup, right? And so I know that sounds like a strange example, but it is one. So we don't have vegetable soup at our house for dinner, ever. That seems a little extreme, right? Some people like vegetable soup. I'm okay with that. And that's how you are self-differentiated. It's when you don't like vegetable soup, but if Sally eats vegetable soup, I'm not going to get mad about it or act like I'm entitled to tell everyone never to eat vegetable soup again. It's more about being comfortable in who you are, being honest, and being a good listener. During the time these three men are chained together, their friendship shifts through the different values. They move from being friends of utility to sometimes being friends of pleasure. They sing together. The music in the movie, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, as has been shared here today, is amazing. They sing together, and then they become friends of virtue when they start to get on the right path of the law. But what's interesting for these guys is that fate doesn't always work out the way we want it. And just because we think something's fixed doesn't mean there's not still consequences. There's a point in the movie where one of them Pete gets caught, and they break him out of jail, and they're all together and in the dark, and they're talking about how much they love each other at this point in the movie. And Pete says something that I love. He says, "You're my boon companions." And so I looked up what a boon companion was, because I didn't have any idea. It's like a BFF, a best friend. It's like a term of endearment and love. And when he says this, it startles Ulysses so much that Ulysses comes clean, because Ulysses has not been virtuous up to this point. He is tricking the three people, he's even himself, honestly, tricking his companions that they're on a journey to find a treasure. The treasure's never there. He's really trying, like in the Odyssey, to outrun the man who's going to marry his wife, break out of jail. And he had no choice but to take these two on the journey with him, because they were chained together. And he felt like he had to trick them. He couldn't just be honest and say, "Come on with me, we're going to go get my wife." So he makes up this big treasure story of a fortune. But he comes clean, and their friendship heals. And that's another important part of friendship, an important part of these triangles, is honesty, but not honesty that hurts, by the way. Honesty from love. honesty from valuing someone else and who they are. And I would say the best part of being a friend is not expecting someone to change to make you more comfortable. When you can be with someone and be who you are authentically together and still have a good time and still value each other, maybe there's some utility involved, maybe you do some projects together, your friendship can grow. But I think the thing that I've learned the most from family systems and the movie Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, is there's nothing like a good journey to create a bond of friendship or family. And so be adventurous with your friends. Go on journeys together. They may not be across great perils as in this story, but be adventurous, be loving, and listen to each other. And please don't try to fix things for someone else. It doesn't do anybody a favor in the long run. It's our own job to fix things, and that's what makes triangles stable and not dangerous places to be in a relationship. Salvation might not be what we expect. Salvation might be a cup of coffee on a back porch and some silence. Salvation might be digging in the dirt. Salvation might be accompanying somebody on a trip to the doctor or bringing someone a meal. It comes in many forms. And we need to be open to letting friendship bring it into our lives. Because, as the oracle said, you seek a great fortune, you three who are now in chains. You will find a fortune, though it will not be the one you seek. May it be so, and blessed be. And now we're going to sing again, and I'm really excited. I think this is a nice tie-in to what we've been thinking about and talking about. Our closing song is in the teal hymnal. I invite you to rise in body and or spirit, both here and at home. And it's called When Our Heart is in a Holy Place, number 1008.
When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place,
be seated. It's a time in our service when we extinguish our chalice. Reverend Pam, can you come on up? I'd like to invite you to join me in the words for our chalice extinguishing. We extinguish this flame, but keep the light of truth, the warmth of community, and the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts and share with all the world. My personal favorite time, so what? So what was I talking about? So I think the good things to take with you today is read the Iliad and the Odyssey. They're awesome, right? And they really inform so many other poems and images in our life. It reminds me a little bit of like how the Bible influences a lot. There are earlier literatures that influence, and this is such early literature that there wasn't even the Greek alphabet yet when Homer, mythology says that Homer wrote it, but we don't even know that, so it's kind of a cool mystery. It also shows up in The Simpsons and any kind of show you watch, Percy Jackson. Lots of cool places, and understanding that context is helpful. I want you to think about friendship in ways that you can stabilize that triangle, not destabilize it. Think about being a good listener, thinking about not coercing other people to change to be around you. Think about how that can help you go into the world more secure, because there's nothing like having a band of buddies, right? That makes us feel triumphant and wonderful, and it gives us people to be next to us when things are hard. Go into this rainy day and celebrate music. I'm so pleased and excited about the music we had today, Selena. Thank you so much. And Charlotte and Z and Jen and woo! The soundtrack for Oh Brother, Where Art Thou has been the soundtrack for so many Goheen family road trips. I know all the words. So it was just such a pleasure to hear that music here today, and such a deep honor to see all of you. I invite you to have a wonderful week. We're going to have announcements next, and Judy, if you want to come up, or there you are. And thank you so much for coming today and being part of this community. It's on the piano. Even when I preached?
Yeah.
Good. That's the most important time, really.
Oh, it's not, yes, so here we are. Hi, I'm Judy Gallagher. I am a member of the board. I'm secretary of the board. I'm also co-chair of the Social Justice Committee. I'm going to start us off because I have a couple of announcements. On the back table, you'll see flyers. I'm talking about the Martin Luther King Jr. Day Parade, which is a week from Monday, the 16th. We will be there with our social justice banner from the church. We'll gather at Miller Park at 12:30 with the parade. I have also signed us up to do a group service project. I believe it's been in the morning. I'm waiting for more details. So if you and members of your family are interested in doing that, put your name on the list back there, and I'll keep you informed as soon as I know more details. So that's MLK. I am also this month hosting the UU Diners, so that is January 19th. It's a Thursday, 6 p.m. at Portofino's in Eastridge on Ringgold Road. If you're interested in joining us for that, all are welcome. Just see me, because they don't take specific reservations, but I will need to call them with an approximate number of people that will be coming and joining us that night. The Social Justice Committee will be meeting at 12:30 in the forum room downstairs. And I don't know if Judith, if you have anything else you want to say about that. And who else has some announcements? I knew Andy would. I think I know what you need to talk about. Okay, Bill, you want to go first?
Thank you. I'm Bill Dornbush, and I'm also a member of the Social Justice Committee. And this is Social Justice Day? I don't know. Social justice is about, to me, three things: education, advocacy, and action. And today I want to talk to you about action. We're starting a new program here at UUCC on food security. The problem we're trying to address is food insecurity. So what's that? Well, the Oxford Dictionary says it is the state of being without reliable access to a sufficient quantity of affordable, nutritious food. The USDA says it's a lack of consistent access to enough food for every person in a household to live an active, healthy life. This can be a temporary situation for a family, or it can last a long time. Food insecurity is one way we measure how many people can't afford food. So how many people are we talking about? In the United States, more than 34 million people, including 9 million children, experience food insecurity. Why does it happen? Someone might get laid off, you might have a car accident, you might have a car repair you need to do, and you just don't have the money to buy food and fix your car at the same time. That's a scary thought to me. I'm glad I've never experienced that, although there was one time when my father-in-law helped me buy tires for our car. What we'll be doing is asking you to contribute food or funds or volunteer time at the Chattanooga Area Food Bank. And you're going to be hearing more about that in the coming weeks. If you haven't read this week's UUC newsletter, please do, and see the article. It's titled Food Collections Starting at UUCC. Thank you for your attention today and throughout this month, and as long as we have food insecurity in our community.
Thank you, Bill. Andy?
Well, good afternoon, everybody. It's great to see so many people here today. This is wonderful. What a great way to start out our new year. If you are not staying for, by the way, I'm Andy, the board president. My pronouns are he and they. If you are not staying for the Social Justice Committee meeting, I'll invite you to come to our first in-person bylaws discussion. As you know from prior announcements that I've made, we are in the process of updating our congregational bylaws. And several of us have been hard at work trying to schedule this big vote, which we're going to do. I have a couple of dates that I'm going to announce in a moment. But today, right after I stop talking, I will invite you to remain upstairs so that you can learn about the bylaws and the process of adopting the new bylaws. So that's right after this, today, right here. If you are not able to do that, we have a couple of other opportunities for you to learn about the bylaws and the process coming up on the vote that we're going to do next month. The first is next Wednesday, directly after the Wednesday potluck. So January 11th at 7 p.m., you'll have an opportunity to stay and ask questions and learn about the process and whatnot. And there will also be, for all of you on YouTube or those of you that can't come to church for this, on January 26th, which is a Thursday, we're going to have one online, so on Zoom or Google, and that's also at 7 p.m. And these will be in the newsletter. You'll have a chance to see this information. So if you can't write it down right now, but this is all leading up to after Sunday on February 26th, we're going to vote on the bylaws. So between now and then, we're going to tweak them, make any necessary changes. Not a whole lot of changes, hopefully. And if you come to these meetings, we'll explain the process involved, like what is a bylaw anyway, and how that works when it comes to the operation of our church. And there is also in the newsletter a link to an online feedback form. So in these meetings, we're not going to sit around and think, okay, on page 2, we want to change this word from thee to thou. We're not going to do any of that. But you'll have a chance to give your feedback in writing through the Google form, which then the board will consider for changes. And so if you have questions, have concerns, please stay after service or attend one of our other sessions so that we'll be able to explain to you what the changes are, and you'll have an opportunity to ask questions about the process. So I invite you to join us. And if you can't come to any of that, you can always contact me or Reverend Mandy or someone else who's been involved in the process. We'll be happy to talk to you one-on-one or in a small group. So that's it. Any other announcements? Oh, Reverend Pam and Sally, okay.
Two quick announcements. One is I noticed we lit up all our candles. I hope that means there are lots of joys, but if they're not and you do need someone to process with, I wanted to remind you that I'm a member of the pastoral care team. Wendy Sapp is another and Reverend Mandy is a third. So feel free to catch one of us after the service if you need to talk some. The other is that in 2 weeks, Jen Horning and I are going to be leading a discussion of this book, Wintering the Power of Rest and Retreat in Difficult Times. We have several people that have signed up to join us, but if you would like to read the book and join us, we're going to be discussing the first half of it. In 2 weeks, it'll be after the service. Who is next?
I think Sally, and it is a good book. I'm almost through it, so consider joining us.
Hello, I'm Sally. So dinners in homes are starting again for this year. Woohoo! So one major thing that's going to be a little bit different, quick reminder, dinners in homes is a small scale potluck. It's a one-time deal. Some of us will offer our homes and list whether it's accessible, whether there's pets, whether there's kids, any dietary restrictions. And then you get to look at everyone who's hosting and say, oh yeah, I think I want to go to that one, and sign up. And then it's just one dinner with just a few people, and you get to know each other better. It's lovely. It's been so much fun. What we're doing different this time, we are going to limit signups for time. So what's going to happen is next week, the 15th, we're going to start host signups. If you want to host at your house, and it will be so much fun, then you can sign up next week, the 15th, or the week after, the 22nd, and that's it. So think about it this week. When are you available to open your homes after February 5th to invite as many people as you like? You can invite 2 people, you can invite 10 people, whatever fits. And it's a potluck, so you only have to make one dish. It's easy. If you're thinking about hosting, feel free to ask me after service. Think about it this week, and then on the 15th and the 22nd, we're going to have host signups for dinners and homes. After that, the 29th and the 5th are going to be signups if you want to attend somebody else's. Go check out somebody else's house, somebody else's cats. It's very cool getting to meet each other's cats. That's like my favorite part. But it's only going to be 2 weeks to sign up, so make sure you come check it out. We'll have options available online as well, and we're only going to have signups for the 29th and the 5th. That's it. Pick which ones you want to go to, sign up, and then we'll be done for this round. So this week, you're thinking about, ooh, do I want to host? Yes, you want to host. And then the next 2 weeks, we'll have signups for hosting, but that's it. So sign up in the next 2 weeks. Thanks.
Thank you, Sally, and it is a lot of fun. I did both, host and attend, so it's fun.
Wednesday, 6 o'clock, potluck. I'm bringing vegetable soup. All right, anyway. For the sake of the Goheen family that never gets it at home. But anyway, so please join us. The great thing about our Wednesday potlucks is that you don't have to prepare anything except food if you want to, or bring a drink, or something to share, you know. But it's such a nice way to get to know each other because we don't have that many opportunities otherwise. So please do join us. It's at 6 o'clock. Looks like we might be doing a letter writing campaign afterward for anyone who wants to join. But also you can just sit there and talk at people too. So that, yeah, and what's that? And the bylaws, right. So maybe we're going to be doing the letter writing some other time, but we're going to eat together. We're going to eat together, and if you don't have time to cook or whatever, please come anyway, because we're going to do our best to make sure there's plenty of food, and that's all.
Any other announcements? Okay, we have one more. We got to talk bylaws.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Hi, everybody. My name is Peter Alvin. My status here is a bit confusing, but I'm assuming I'm a member. Anyway, I'd just like you to look stage right. The social justice has gone go green. Now, this is a part funder, and to remind people that we can make a small step to help the planet. These are recycled, I'm calling them utility bags. rather than grocery bags. You can use, obviously, groceries. You can take them to Home Depot and put nails or whatever you want to put in there. You couldn't put a vice, but smaller items you certainly could. Anyway, it's a donation only, so it's from 0 to sky's the limit. Please be generous. And that's, let me just give you a few statistics about plastic. I was as astounded. Oh, wrong one. Okay, just going from memory. In 2022, 40 million tons, that's 40 million tons of plastic was generated by this country. Of that, 2 million recycled. So this is just a very, very small first step. People get a little frustrated. Well, we have a major problem in terms of pollution, etc. What can I do? Well, this is a very small step. At least it's something. So that's about it. Please be generous. And they're the bags. And many of them, we have 100.
Thank you, Peter. I'm going to assume there's no announcements because it's getting it's getting late. Enjoy bylaws, come to social justice, and have coffee. Thank you.